The idea here is to have a RESTful interface to database objects in these different databases without having to have ORDS installed in those databases. ORDS already has functionality we refer to as AutoREST, which makes those database objects available through a RESTful interface. But it does require ORDS to be installed, and it's restricted to the Oracle database. So even though ORDS can make JDBC connections to various different databases, AutoREST is just not an option. So by using standard JDBC classes and the ability to specify your database connection through basic authentication, we'll make this available in those various different databases. Just drop in the JDBC driver, specify JDBC URL as a custom URL in your configuration, and as you see here, we end up having valid pools for ORDS to work with. Now, how do you define what database objects? Tables and views is what we're focused on at the moment. It's all through an API document where we use this standard extension mechanism as part of the OpenAPI specification to identify, well, what is the object and what type of object it is that we're interacting with. Similar to existing ORDS AutoREST functionality, we can have an alias. So in this case, the database object is called staff, but we'll expose the RESTful interface as employees. Something that's new to this plugin is that you can also say, well, the object we want to make available is in this specific schema. So let's take a look at this all in action. We'll take a quick look at the API document for this pool to see what it declares. So we have a get on actors. So let's try that out. So here we have the first actor record right up to the 25th. We have pagination as an option, so we can have our offset as well as our limit, and by default the limit is 25. But in this case, we'll set our offset to 5 and our limit to 5. So we will be expecting to get row 6 to 10 coming back. And there it is. Not only can we refer to a collection, we can also identify a specific resource item or a row in the table. But not just tables, this is the view in the Sequila demonstration database as well. But the more interesting parts, the insert, the update and delete is what we'll take a look at now. I'm going to add an actor called Terry. So we have a 201 response to say this has been created, but also as a convenience, it returns the row that was just inserted. You'll see how that has the generated last update as a result of an auto generated column on the table in the MySQL database. Let's see, does the database recognize that user's there? Yes, we're going to change it now to TED. So here we're just using put for doing our update. Let's confirm that that has been applied to the database. We'll go back to our collections query. And there we have it. Terry has become TED. Now let's delete that record. The expected response is a 204 to say that successfully removed from the database. It's gone. Let's take a look at our read-only database where ORDS is not installed even though it's an Oracle database, and our database user for the request is Scott. But as you saw there in the API document, we are referring to employees in the HR schema. So we can do the collection, we can get items, but let's see what happens if we try to do a post. In this case we're getting a 404 because it's not specified in the document that post is covered for this particular path. Again, all of these queries are relying on using the database credentials provided in the request as part of the basic authentication to make that connection to the database. So as we saw earlier in our Postgres API, the object in the database is called staff, but we're making it available on an alias of employees. Let's take a look at DB2. So this also has the concept of database objects existing in a schema or being owned by a particular user. So we can refer to inventory, and of course the data that the user sees is based on, well, what data they have access to. And now we're looking at SQL Server. Again, this is a person object in the person schema that this user has access to at runtime. And the details of the objects are all defined within the API document. That's specific to each pool. So as you've seen, our ORDS plugin offers a robust, flexible and secure way to interact with multiple databases through a unified RESTful interface. This plugin is based on the documented ORDS plugin framework and does not reference any internal ORDS code or classes. And that means a customer could implement this today with confidence. So feel free to contact me for another demonstration or a code walkthrough. Thank you.